Enchanting Grom Fright, what an episode. There was drama, romance and action. While the most exciting thing for most of us, including myself, was Disney's first ever canon queer main character in an animated series, amongst all of the excitement, some people may have missed a glimpse of something else very intriguing at the end of the episode. It appears someone has been sending Luz's mother, Camelia Nuceda, letters posing as Luz herself pretending to be at camp. It's pretty creepy. There are a few things that jump out at me here. The first and most obvious thing being the misspelling of Luz. Do they not know Luz well enough to spell her name? And yet they know her address, so they have to either be close to Luz or maybe they're spying on her. The articulate writing suggests an older party, yet they made such a childish and sloppy mistake. And then we have the ominous sounding forever and ever. Do they really want to spend time with Luz's mother forever and ever? Or was it a Freudian slip and they really mean that they intend to keep Luz in the boiling isles forever and ever? There are a few possible suspects that we know of, and even some suspects that we may not even have met yet. First off, I'm going to get the most obvious theories out of the way. Let's kick things off with Ida and King. It's a possibility that either Ida or King, using Ida's portal, came to Earth and sent the letters to Camelia themselves. They are closest to Luz, more than anybody else in the Boiling Isles, and probably wouldn't struggle to get her address if they were to ask. However, that begs the question, why would they? Maybe Ida doesn't want Luz to leave her because she sees her as her daughter, or maybe King doesn't want to lose his best friend, as we've seen he's had possessive tendencies towards Luz before. That's all well and good, but does it really hold up? As I see it, they both have no real reason to keep Luz trapped with them. And even when she does have to eventually leave them, there is nothing to stop her from returning. Plus, why would Ida cover up for Luz when she doesn't even have to go back home yet? Luz is already sending her mother texts as well. Narratively, I don't think it's very interesting, or that it makes too much sense to assume that they've sent the letters. They may have access in and out of the human world, but the evidence starts and ends there. Now on to Amity. Could she be the writer in question? What possible motives could Amity have for keeping Luz trapped on the Boiling Isles? None immediately come to mind, but could it be that she's working for the Emperor's Coven, and that maybe they're the ones masterminding the whole thing? I don't think so. Everything about the way Amity reacts towards Luz initially suggests that Amity didn't believe she was anybody special when they first met. Another potential clue that may lead people to suspect Amity is her neat handwriting. However, although the handwriting may look similar at first glance, there are many discrepancies between the two styles. I don't think we have enough evidence to suggest Amity is the mysterious writer. Besides, Amity would know how to spell Luz, she's head over heels. So, with those out of the way, let's discuss the more interesting theories. Is this the face of evil? Let's take a look. There are a few reasons to suspect that Gus may be a twist villain. He was the leader of the Hexside Human Appreciation Society, and it isn't too far-fetched to imagine that he'd know of ways to enter in and out of the human world, as he does have some genuine human items. Not to mention, Gus specializes in illusions, and could very possibly not be who he appears to be. Yet another tell that he may be hiding something is that in Hootie's Moving Hassle, it's implied that one of the kids must have some serious magical ability to animate an entire house. We were meant to believe that Lime was referring to Luz, but could it have really been Gus? In the same episode, Gus is emphasized as being the weakest of the three, which could possibly be a red herring. He also skipped 2 years of Hexside, so it would make sense that he'd be extremely powerful for his age. Also, what if he started spelling Luz, then actually started spelling his own name Gus? It's fun to think about, but I wouldn't put too much stock in his theory yet. Next up, let's talk about Creepy Luz. In a twist rivaled only by Grunkle Stan's secret twin brother, what if the letters were sent by another Luz? In this interview, we're teased with the character Creepy Luz.
Definitely got to improvise with Creepy Luz.
Yeah, Creepy Luz is
Creepy Luz is... Yeah, you'll see her, you'll meet her, you'll get to know her.
While she hasn't appeared in the show yet, there are a few things in this letter which make a lot of sense to me if this were to be true, i.e. wanting to do mother-daughter activities with Camelia, and saying that she can't wait to see her. Maybe the writer meant these words sincerely. As for the spelling mistake, it's entirely possible that her name really is Luce with an S. A lot of alternative versions of characters in media have a trend of having a name that's a slight variation of the originals. It's a little out there, but with Alex Hirsch as creative consultant, I feel as if this wouldn't be too much of a stretch, and it would certainly make for an interesting turn of events. It's unclear whether this would be a witch doppelganger of Luz from the Boiling Isles, a fake copy created by an evil power, or something else entirely. Only time will tell. Now onto the most elaborate, yet bizarrely feasible theory. Who would know Luz's mother, her address, and have a reason for keeping the whereabouts of Luz unknown? The reality check camp, of course. While we don't know much about it, we can insinuate that it's run by a bunch of pretty terrible people, with a tagline like "Think inside the box." One might say it's a bit culty. If they realized they were missing a kid and wanted to avoid trouble, wouldn't it make sense to cover it up by sending fake letters to Camelia? And why hasn't Camelia been alerted to the fact that Luz has gone missing in the first place? Wouldn't the camp have told her by now? It's all very suspicious. What's unclear, however, is the motives of the camp, how it fits into the Boiling Isles, and the implications it would bring for future episodes. Well, here's where it gets interesting. What if the summer camp is run by the conformatorium? Think about it, they have pretty much the same goals in mind to stamp out individuality. Also, only humans can break the force field where the contraband items are kept in there. The only way that makes sense? The people running it are human. Further still, the conformatorium has a bunch of symbolism devoted to the Emperor's Coven, which brings us full circle to the Emperor, the final suspect. Obviously, being the central antagonist of the season, it would make more than enough sense that he'd be the one orchestrating things from behind the scenes. So we know what the camp's intentions may be, but what if the Emperor himself had specific intentions for keeping Luz trapped in the Boiling Isles, if the camp turned out to be inconsequential? One possibility is that he could use her to get to Ida. Another possibility is that he sees great potential in Luz and perhaps wants to use her personally. We don't know enough about him to say anything for certain, but I reckon we'll be finding out more about him in the coming episodes. That's all for this video. Drop a like if you enjoyed it, and comment below with who you think may have written the letters. If you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing, as it really helps the channel out and makes me feel a lot better about having no friends. Thanks for watching.